Good morning. This is John Burke and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to discuss Maker DAO. It's the second video on this particular decentralized finance system, and I'm going to speak to its stablecoin, which is now called DAI. I already explained what is a DAO, a decentralized autonomous organization, and within the Maker protocol. But today I'm going to discuss the stablecoin called DAI, which is always valued at $1. So DAI is softly pegged to the US dollar. And Maker is a lending platform, and it is one of the major lending platforms on DeFi, along with Aave and Compound, to give you some examples. And in this video, I'm going to discuss what are called permissionless Maker vaults. But first, a little bit of history. So as I've already explained, the Maker Foundation was established in 2014. The community that operates Maker hold tokens, and these tokens are called MKR tokens, and each token will give you a right to vote. But obviously, the more Maker tokens that you hold, the greater is your voting power. And the community that holds Maker tokens, they of course are responsible for the operation and profitability of the organization. They set the decentralized applications. And as we will see in the case of their stablecoin, which requires collateralization, they will approve the different types of collateral that may be used to generate their stablecoin. So the first stablecoin that MakerDAO released, it was in 2017, and it can be called SAI, S-A-I, for Single Collateral DAI. And it was called Single Collateral DAI because the only approved collateral asset at that time is Ethereum, because this is where the smart contracts run on the Ethereum network. However, in 2019, they expanded the range of collateral that could be used to generate DAI. And so now we have multi-collateral DAI. And to give you some examples of this expanded range of collateral assets, you could use USD coin, BTC, basic attention token. But as we'll see, the largest proportion of collateral now that backs DAI, it's Ethereum derivatives. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. So let's look at some key financial facts simply about Maker DAO. So the total value locked in these vaults is large. It's in the several billions measured in USD. I can't get my hands on the exact number despite the fact that I've done my research. In 2023, Maker DAO produced revenue of about 200 million. And Maker DAO now, and I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, permits real-world assets to be used as collateral. But these are reserved for permission vaults, which I'm not going to speak about. But to give you an example of a real-world asset, let's say a short-term bond issued by the United States government, or a short-term bond that trades as an ETF. And of course, this can generate more profits for the DAO. So multi-collateral DAI. There is no centralized entity. This is a decentralized stablecoin. So we don't have anything like a central bank, which is releasing the money or coin into circulation. And we don't have anything like a central bank that's going to operate any sort of monetary policy. That's not to say that Maker DAO doesn't have a monetary policy. It does. But it's very unlike a central bank because this is a decentralized platform. So how does Maker DAO define DAI? So they define it, they say DAI is a decentralized, unbiased, collateral-backed cryptocurrency soft-pegged to the US dollar, and it is resistant to inflation. due to its low volatility. All right, fine. But how does it work? How do I create DAI? And this is, to me, what I find most interesting, because Maker, as I said, is a lending platform. Well, when I think of lending, I think of going to a financial institution and asking for a loan because I don't have anything of value except perhaps a future income stream. Well, this is not the way DAI, or your loan, is created on the Maker DAO protocol. So if I want to generate DAI or borrow DAI, which is more accurate, I need something of value. I need one of the approved collateral asset categories. So let's keep it simple and say I need ETH. So I would have to have something of value in order to generate DAI, which leads to the question, why would I do such a thing? I have something of value. I can transfer it. I can dispose of it. Why do I need to borrow against it? All right, we'll find out. So if I want to generate DAI, I have to create a Maker vault. And of course, there are different user interfaces which allow me to do so. So I create a Maker vault, a smart contract, and I must appropriately fund it with an approved collateral asset. In this case, we're just going to keep it simple and stay with ETH, but I must over-collateralize against the value that I'm going to borrow, which in this case is DAI. Again, let's keep it simple, 150%. So if I want to generate 100 DAI, I have to put up ETH in the value of 150. Why would I do this? This is the big question for me. But once I do it, I can create this DAI and it can enter into circulation. I can use it as money. I can lend it. I can do anything that is permitted or that is that would have an economic value for me with this newly created DAI. But remember, at the same time, I am borrowing this DAI, and that means I must pay the DAI back, and I'm going to pay what's called a stability fee. And this is a term for an interest rate. So this interest rate is constantly accruing against the DAI that I borrowed. And at some point in time, I will have to pay it back, and at that point in time, the DAI that I created is destroyed. Just to repeat, as I said, a Maker vault is a smart contract. Under Psi, it was called a collateralized debt position, but that's no longer the language that is used. So what can I do with the DAI? So I have ETH. Perhaps I don't want to sell my ETH. I want to keep it, but I want to be able to use the value of my ETH in order to pay someone something or lend someone who wants DAI. So this might be a reason I created. Another feature of the system is that there is a DAI savings rate, so that if I do not spend my DAI, I do not use it, I can put it in the DAI savings rate protocol and earn interest on my DAI, just like I might with a time deposit at a bank. But I have to remember that DAI savings rate would have to exceed the value of the stability fee. Otherwise, I'm not making any money. So this is for me, this is the main question. Why am I doing this? But apparently, a lot of people are doing it because we've got billions of locked value. And there is a lot of DAI in circulation, so it's extremely popular. Another consideration that I must keep in mind is what is called a liquidation price or a liquidation risk. Because at all times, I must make certain that the value of my collateral meets the criteria that has been set for that type of collateral by the DAO community. And if it falls beneath that criteria, my vault is subject to liquidation. That means that it will automatically go into liquidation. My collateral will be sold at what's called a Dutch auction. The debt will be repaid. And of course, in the event there's anything left over, that collateral will be returned to me. But it is risky, and I must be very vigilant that my over-collateralization satisfies the criteria set by the Maker DAO community. And in the event I see that the value of my collateral is falling beneath the required ratio, I have to fund my vault. Otherwise, I run this risk of liquidation. So as I say, I don't think I would do this. I am a holder of ETH, but I don't see any point in borrowing against that ETH to generate DAI, simply because for my individual purposes, I don't see any reason to do it. But obviously, I'm in the minority. There are a lot of people that use their collateral to generate DAI. And on the other hand, we have to look at, how does Maker make money? Well, it's making money through the stability fee. It's also making money by staking. It can stake assets in any type of cryptocurrency that is using a proof of stake consensus protocol. And recently, a lot of its money is coming from the tokenization of its real world assets, which I mentioned: short-term bonds, short-term debt ETFs, and so on. And Maker DAO does work with a particular organization, Montalis Clydesdale, to purchase the real world assets and to tokenize them and to create particular vaults. Before I close for today, I want to talk about what is called the Smart Burn engine. All right, as I mentioned, the stability fee. The stability fee has to be repaid. Often it's repaid in DAI. This creates a surplus or an excess supply of DAI in the market, which runs the risk that the peg may fall below the value of $1. So it's putting downward pressure on the value of DAI. So what is a Smart Burn engine? So the Smart Burn engine, of course, it's a program. It's not a human being. It will take a survey. It's very vigilant about the supply of DAI in the market, and it will take this surplus DAI, and with it, it will purchase and burn the MKR token. What does it do? This reduces the supply of DAI that is in circulation, or we could say that's the money supply has been reduced in order to help maintain this peg of $1. And it also puts deflationary pressure on the Maker token. In other words, it's likely to increase its value. I'm going to end there for today. There's much more to the Maker DAO protocol and DAI that I have mentioned because, of course, we have to deal with oracles, which will provide real-time information about the value of the dollar and DAI onto the chain. And there are many different actors in the Maker DAO system that I haven't mentioned, but I just wanted to speak to the stablecoin itself. Now, on the one hand, I find it extremely fascinating. It's, in a way, it's ingenious and very innovative, the way the Maker DAO community has come up with this decentralized stablecoin. But I have a hard time getting my head around why you would do it, except for the fact that somehow I can't use my collateral in the same way that I can use the stablecoin, because the stablecoin acts equivalent to money to pay people, I can lend it. But again, I have to be very careful because I have an over-collateralized position and I am constantly running an interest rate in order to have this DAI. and I have an obligation to pay it back in order to recover the collateral that I posted in the first place. So I'm going to end there for today. I hope you like this video. If you like the video, subscribe and give it a like.